Hello everyone. Welcome to our speaker session of DaeDarus app. Today we have Pratyush Agarwal with us. He is the founder of Code's Asylum, a coding bootcamp. He has an experience of more than 2.5 years in the tech industry while working with D. Shaw and Co., PaySafe, and IOConnect. He is a speaker and motivator at various platforms like PyCon, institutions like IITs, NITs, BITs, etc. Organizations and communities and promotes building a healthy communal and interactive mindset towards coding, technology, and learning a human behavior. Over to you, Pratyush.
Thank you, Priyanka. It's Thanks a lot, first of all, like for calling me for this great initiative that you guys are trying to make. And like as like for example, today's topic, like we are more going towards the tech enthusiastic communities where like people are trying to dig in that much in the computer science that like starting from centralized system moving to distributed system today coming to a decentralized platform. It's a great era, I would think, like that we are living in terms of technical advancement and technical uh, uh, collaborativeness of building things. So first of all, like I'm really thankful for you to invite me to share my thoughts and insights over these topics to the people around. And yeah, I think like it would be a great I would say a great insightful session. Who want to who want to start blockchain, or who have like just started blockchain and then want to deep dive into like how all the products work around it, what is the technology, why it has been there, why you should be there or you should be there or not. Like so we'll be like discussing all of it enthusiastically. So first of all, it's like it would be a great thing like if you guys like in the comment section maybe you can write something about yourself, that okay, like I'm undergrad of this particular year, or like I'm a college student, or I'm a school student, I'm working somewhere, like something like that, so that like like we understand that who is our audience right now. And we'll be very interactive. We try to be very interactive here, like what all things you basically looking forward from this particular webinar specifically, and also in your future. So for example, like today we found some very inquisitive people who want to build something, who want to create something in blockchain, or who are just exploring blockchain as a technology. Like we can help them out a lot in terms of sharing a great resources, building some projects together. So that's great. So it's great. Like it's like Nishant is there. Hi Nishant. Hi Rohit. Hi, Sritishna. Hi, Shreyansh. So that's really great. Like to be you guys over here. Okay, second year student, pre-final students, third year students. That's really great. Like at this point of time, if you are getting interacting with these kind of technologies, I would say like you can grow a lot in terms of computer science as a stream, and technology as your domain. So that's really great. So yeah, like so Priyanka, like do you want to share anything around like how people around in your colleges, like how do you think things are there, and or any specific technology stack that you think that like people are enthusiastic around this, and they feel very comfortable things, or like what they look forward, anything inside your any insight about your college or college life you want to share with these people?
People in our college are interested in like all types of technologies, basically machine learning, web development, data science, and all.
Right.
All are like everyone's interest is different.
Exactly. So for example, like most of the people, like I would say, like if you talk about the industry, like right now, industry is booming in that sectors, which is like easy to adapt with the people. So they start using. So for example, I when I was in college, I also started with some basics data structures in the initial part, like because like everybody's like, key you want to get placement, do coding and data structures and every of those things. Then I understand, okay, like this is something, it's like to crack all those interviews, but it's not the actual technology. It's like what you do inside or what the work you do inside. Then I understand, okay, like software development, building products, back end, front end, all these technologies is something that you do over there. You will be doing when you will be doing a software job, you will be doing these particular things. Then I understand that, okay, like you build a product, you build a platform, but what if like there are hundreds and millions of users coming to those particular platform? Like somebody has to, like for example, you have seen that there is a big billion day and a lot of things is being like crashing around in the server, and people are like, yeah, like it's a platform, why how it can go down, like this is a website and it's not possible that coming of these many people, like it's not able to stabilize those particular platforms. So from there, like distributed systems comes to a big role. Like right now in all of the interviews, people look forward for uh, what kind of system design architecture that you have to follow, so that your platform sustains, so that your scalability grows, improves. So these kind of terms and these kind of terminologies, like for example, why you set up a kind of a queue Kafka kind of thing in building your platforms, and why there is a system cache is being required, like caching information is being required. So like these distributed systems come to a way when like for example, when your centralized system, for example a laptop, has a limit, a server has a limit, that okay, like it can has x number of hard disk space, x number of memory, like okay, 12 16 GB of ram, 32 GB of ram, a lot of like, but it cannot be like 1 TB of ram, 2 TB of ram in your complete one system, like. So that's why like but the data is increasing day by day, day by day, day by day, and people want to process it. Like Facebook, you process petabytes of data per day, like like just having hi hello, but for them it's like a data, and that has to be processed, that has to be stored, that has to be like analyzed, that has to be predicted for providing you better like recommendation analytics around it, where like obviously your machine learning and all those things come around. But yes, like scaling it off, like storing it off, processing, you need a better scalable system. So for this, like horizontal scaling comes the vital part, ki ha, like the systems cannot be now be vertically scaled. That means you cannot just add on ram and hard disk into one particular system, but it has to be thousands and millions of systems that are being there all around the world, which are being set up and connected together, and the data can be processed and getting it to you. So that becomes the vital part of the distributed systems, which was there. Now what happened is, like we moved on to centralized system to distributed system. But what happened is, like the ownership or the validation part is only among these companies. Basically, like the most, like for example Paytm, like you do have a transaction, like for example I want to transact something to like Priyanka, like so there has to be go through the validation from Paytm or any third party authentication. Now what if like that authentication fails, like we don't trust any authentication, that okay, like that company might be in some bad shape, or anything might happen, like they might not able to perform the scalability operation in the best possible state. I understand, like that might sound, yeah, Paytm is a very big company, like they will have those kind of developers that will understand all those things and they will do those things. But at sometimes it could be a possibility when there is a long rush, like for example demonetizations, when like these kind of issues happen, and there has to be a long rush kind of a thing. And there was a financial crisis at a point, I would say in 2006 2009 around, when a lot of Lehman Brothers and Goldman Sachs, they just dumbed down just because of like a lot of people have a lot of debts and loans in different forms in US. and they then don't trust. They said like we cannot trust these financial institutions, we cannot trust these governments, we cannot trust the monetary, like the money value that is being transacting. So they wanted a system where, like, like they don't want to transact in a way that a third party is being authorizing it, and it's governmental, or it is like, like something like a financial institution, something like Paytm or Razorpay or some these kind of third party integrations. So they want that, okay, like whatever we are transacting, it has to be validated through mathematical operations or a consensus that is based on the people that are there in that particular network. So for example, like we created a network that, okay, like we are 1,000 people, we transact each other transactions, and we don't want that government or any other third party or Paytm or something like that, uh like, like they want to have that kind of authority to see or to validate that transaction actually happens or not. So that's why, like, they want that, that yes, like, this all of this transactions and this process is being done by the rules that that community make. So just imagine the power of the community, and just imagine the power of, like, the consensus, the mathematical algorithms, the computation power that actually uses to validate these validations, like basically to validate these all transactions basically. And that's what, like a lot of people, like I remember in 2016 around, like I remember 16 around 17 around in India, it's like everybody want to mine coins. So everybody wants, like, yeah, like let's like this community is building great, and like we can transact any kind of amount in that particular zones, and there is no validations or like who is doing these transaction, to whom it is doing. There is no such concept of, like identification. It's just a kind of a key that you get, a private key, a public key, and nobody can, like iterate it or, dig out key who sent to whom. And it's not been regulated by any third party authentications also. It's like it's been regulated by the community itself, by the miners that are working inside that community, who are building at least that coin, or who are, like transacting those kind of coins. So so everybody was like mine that coins. Now there's a very important concept that, like that comes over here, is like mining these coins. So why people used to coin this, like especially if I talk about Bitcoin, like that being so so Bitcoin being, I would say, the you can say the first kind of a, not first, like most popular first kind of a cryptocurrency, which comes out in blockchain. And everyone wants, like to transact it the level that it was increasing. So the value it was increasing. So that's why, like, people want that, okay, like let's see what how this transaction works, and like how can a normal code can value into a money. Like it's nothing, like if you imagine, like what is Bitcoin, like it's a cryptographic code that's there in your system, that's there in the other system, and that has a value. Like just imagine, and not even a small value, like that has a value of like one Bitcoin. Like it has shoot up to, like, like even 6 7 lakhs, and like 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs, 15 lakhs of value of worth. So just imagine that, like for example, if you mine a coin, if you mine a block basically, so one block consists of x number of transactions. And if you say that you are adding the block to that particular chain, then for every block you are adding, you are getting, right now value is 12.5 Bitcoins, which is like every 4 years it decreased to 1 by 4 of it, like half of it, sorry, not 1 by 4, half of it. Like it started with 50 coins when the Genesis block was generated. Genesis means the first block when it was generated. From there it is like decreasing to half of it every 4 years. And it has a like it will be total coins that would be generated would be till 2140, and the number of coins would be 21 millions. So it has a definite amount. So also, like people, as they are growing, like with the years, they are also increasing in values, but they are also seeing that it has a limit value. That's why, like, it is actually a, like a kind of a currency that is being converted. So that's why, like, so this 6.5, right now, what's the value is, like around like 12.5 bitcoins, and you can mine one block every like one block is being generated every 10 minutes. And 12.5 bitcoin, like, if I would say, like, I don't know, like, I haven't seen the cost right now, but maybe if we say like 10-15 lakhs also, one worth of one bitcoin, like, one, if like, it's like 12 1 cr kind of thing. That's why, like, people got crazy of mining of these things. But not talking about monetary part of it, but, like, the calculations, the mathematical operations that goes behind the scenes is like awesome. Like, you get a that kind of a aha moment in technology, that, like, you are actually mathematically calculating that nouns, that puzzle, to get that block to be generated in the most cryptographical form. So that is something very amazing, that actually connects you direct with your computer science. So basically, that's the beauty of it. Key For example, in software development, you have to write some front end, some back end kind of things. In machine learning, obviously, it's very mathematical. Machine learning, I would say, it's not even close to computer science, it's very close to mathematics. Like, you have to actually go deep down into statistics, probability, calculus, to like, solve some of the great challenges machine learning and its libraries. Apart from it, it's like all Python development, you can say. Like, like, just using drag and drop of those libraries, and tweaking in some code of it to get your machine learning results. But basically, it's pure mathematics. For example, but if we come to this blockchain or system design or distributed systems, it's purely computer science. It's like pure networking, pure cryptography. And you have to have a great understanding of, what you can say, this site reliabilities, like how these vulnerabilities, or the site performances, or like the network performances, how actually these devices actually interact with each other at the data level, at the wires level, at the network level. So you should have that level of awareness, first of all. Second is obviously, uh, uh, your your integrations of different systems, like how these different systems are having different protocols, rules and regulation, basically in normal terms, so that they interact and send package from each other. So this is how, like, I'm trying to give you a kind of a very basic sense of, like, how deeply you actually have to go into the basics or the fundamentals of blockchain. Like, we'll be obviously discussing more around that, what are its application, like how exactly you can make d apps. Like, right now people are using d apps, like, for example, you might have heard about ethereum. Ethereum is a great platform. I remember that, Vitalik. So in 2016 around, like, he came to India, like in Triple IT Hyderabad. And I remember I was in D show, and, like, we didn't know him at all. Like, we just went over there, and like, it's like founder of Ethereum, and he was like, that 18-year-old guy, and he's like talking like something crazy about this blockchain and Ethereum and all these systems, mathematics, computer science, cryptography. And we were like, yeah, like, what kind of things, like, how can a, like, a code convert into a money kind of thing, and why he's talking so much, and we didn't know about him that much. And what he's trying to create at that point of time is, that like, uh, there are apps, basically. You use your this complete decentralized platform, and you can make apps over it. Basically, whatever you run on distributed systems, basically, you make your Uber app, you make your Amazon kind of app, you make your supply chain management applications, any kind of domain application, over a decentralized platform instead of a distributed. Like, for example, in distributed, there are thousands of systems connected to each other, flowing off all these information, authenticated by a central authority. Whereas in decentralized app, there is no central authorities, and there is just a consensus, or the hashes, or the cryptography Merkle trees that is been there, uh, that help people to validate those anything that is coming inside the application. So I think like a lot of people are asking what is decentralized exactly, which is like, like which is the question of an hour for the blockchain. So I'll try to manage to like to explain you what is decentralized. So say again, like, so for example, uh, like for example, I took that example ki there are plenty of people like all around, okay, and we want to transfer data, like, okay, and key that right now how databases work, key there is a database that is set up over one particular place. You can consider it as server, you can consider it a system for now, like a system is there, or AWS is there, or your cloud is there, your Google Drive is there, for example, and you send your data to it. Now you will be validated by the Google key. You are sending your data from X person, for example me, to this Google Drive, and it is stored somewhere. Whenever you want to take it back, you that data is only stored there, and that will see that if you are the right user, do you have the permission, and it will take that data back and give it to you. Okay, this is like normal distributed systems how it works. Now what happened in decentralized systems, when you add anything, it will go in a communalism manner. Like for example, that data will be there with everyone, every of its user, and you can, whenever you want, you will get that data from that particular pool. So now the best part it, and then you will say that my data will be hacked in that case. No, that's the quality, like it's been cryptographically, like cryptographically embedded, those cryptographics, public keys and private keys, that nobody can take your data from there. So that particular same data is there on every of these systems, and from there you can get your data whenever you want to. So there is like, like kind of a distributed, like decentralized system where like kind of a connected systems where you, the data or the transactions or whatever the ledger is there, like the technical word for this is ledger. So you consider it a ledger which is there in every of the system. So for example, for example, there is a kind of a balance sheet that is going on, okay, like this transaction happened. For example, there is something, Rohit sent to Ishita, for example, 1,000 rupees. Then Ishita sent to Nishant maybe 500 rupees. Nishant sent to Rohit again some 10,000 rupees. Any of these kind of information is there. So that all will be stored in a ledger, and that ledger will be in all of the systems. So the best part is like everybody has that information, but nobody can see it because Ishita is being there, like is being just being used as a cryptographic key. Like nobody knows that that cryptographic key is linked to Ishita. So that's the best part, that okay, like you cannot judge that, okay, like who is this and who is that, and that has been just a kind of an information that has been, like being stored in everybody's information. Now, the best part is it cannot be mutated at any point of time. By that, I mean it cannot be changed. Like, for example, there is no rollback kind of an option. There is like, like you cannot do any tampering in that particular data set. Once it goes, because whenever it is going, it is actually being mined by thousands and lakhs of miners, which is, like doing, solving that puzzle to allocate that particular block into the chain, and that requires a lot of resources and lot of competition around it. So 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 that's why like it becomes, like one time settlement of that particular transaction or that data that has been already there in blockchain. But obviously you might have that kind of feeling here, like if everybody has that kind of data, then what if like the data is actually increasing day by day, day by day, how those problems would be solved? So actually that's a big problem in blockchain, but that's why like for those things we don't use blockchain for. We use blockchain for major information where we need, where there is a need of, like the tampering could not be there. For example, a lot of I see a lot of demos in hackathons ki yaar ki this logic supply chain management ki there are farmers, from farmers to transportation to merchants to retailer to normal shop vendors, then it is coming to like us directly. Now there are a lots and thousands and tons of middle parties are involved. Now, what if all of this data has been on blockchain? Nobody can fool us that okay, like this was the price that was being there when it was started, and today what is the price of it? Right now in the industry, the things are not transparent. It's very manipulated. It's very complicated, and like anybody can say and talk about it anything. So that's the beauty of blockchain, that it's purely transparent, it's immutable, and it's purely logical and compute, like like technically advanced in terms of cryptography, that nobody can hack that. So that's what it make it a beautiful like, although it has one of the problems that it uses a lot of resources. It uses a lot of resources in mining, although like there are some consensus. By consensus I mean kind of a protocols or rules or regulation on which your particular blockchain is being like working. So that has a problem, which is like proof of work. Like for example, if you are like proof of work means, you can consider it that way, that if you're mining, you have to show that you actually mined it. Like like that's why your resource or your graphic cards has been it uses a lot. I have seen not seen actually, like obviously in videos, and like friend of friends herding around, and through exploring in bit of my career, that you can see like mining data, where mining houses kind of a thing in Iceland, which is like thousands of acres and all graphic cards over there, and just mining of these nouns to get like the best results, and get that mining done for this all these blockchains that are running over the cryptocurrency, or some ledgers in different products. So these things is like that understanding, that level of understanding is something I understand. Like obviously in day one, like listening to my webinar is not something, or be anyone, you'll not get that moment ki yaar ki हाँ ki. So it has to be go through uh, some resources, which I in this particular webinar I'll be sharing to you guys also. Maybe I'll put it on LinkedIn also, and that will help you like to go do a little bit of step by step kind of process through all of this, which will help you a lot through there. But yes, like the main problem that is being solved through blockchain is Byzantine problem. Like I don't want to share right now, because it's very like it's pure mathematical problem which it solves. But consider it in a way that the problem was like, I'm just sharing you the problem. Like for example, there are multiple kingdoms. Just consider, like let's go back to like the time when there were kings in in Marathas. There were kings in like Rajasthans. There were kings, Mughals were there. So just imagine that time, and like they want that we want to have a like a kind of a war. Like they want to, they are analyzing, and they are planning for a war, and they want to send their soldiers to those kingdoms, that okay, like we will be having our fight at this day. Okay, so now to capture one of the kingdoms, so for example, three of the kingdoms are trying to capture one of the kingdoms. So these kingdoms will have to somehow tell from their like their soldiers that okay, like this we need to capture this particular this on this day. So if they'll not plan on the same day, they will lose. If they get that particular thing, that okay, yes, like everybody will be on the same day, they'll win. But the problem is when they send their soldiers, either someone manipulated, somebody like replace it, so there are a lot of tampering that been happening. So just considering that case, blockchain actually solves this particular problem in the real time, using the technology, using the cryptography, using networks, and obviously that the way it handles data transfers. So cool. Like study about a lot around Byzantine problems, you'll get a lot of blogs, you'll get a lot of videos, you get a lot of mathematical expressions to, like, express it, like how it has been solved, why it has been solved. So all these things will help you a lot. So let's take some more questions. uh DApps, I think a lot of people are asking about DApps. So DApps is something. Now, for example, I want to make a my own coin, or I want to make a app that works on decentralized platforms. By decentralized, again, like I told you, ki, like all of that data set is been there on all of the people of the community. That data has been already there with all of them, so anybody can, like whenever this has been transferred or this has to be updated, it has to be updated on all the platforms, all those connections and networks that are being there in that particular network, basically. So now, like, so that's why, like, so people want to make apps over this particular base. So any kind of apps, like for example, how your normal Android apps works, that's on distributed system, basically. Now, those kind of apps you can make on this particular decentralized system using what? Ethereum. Like, Ethereum allows you to make all of these platforms over a decentralized platform, all of these applications over a decentralized platform in the background. So for example, there are very, like for example, whenever you want to transact, whenever you want to have cre- want to put anything in the blockchain, you want mining and all those things, so those modules are already made in the Ethereum, and you can just plug and play, and you can make a good UI around it. You can make an application, you can write a backend servers to connect all of these things, and you can fetch information, write APIs around it, so that you get your information and your application, basically your application works well. So all of that application task just on a decentralized atmosphere. That's it. Like, that's what our DApps do. And that's how, like people are trying to have a transparent system. So for example, like one of the application is like, in Facebook, sometimes you see a lot of content, or Twitter, you see a lot of content that has been, like, people don't use it but kind of abuse it, kind of a thing, and like fake content kind of a things. So those things can be solved using blockchain. A lot of people try to use smart contracts. Smart contracts are what? Like for example, I have to pay you something. Like for example, a lot of things, times I see like that happens through Uber and Paytm, those kind of hacks that people used to, like book Uber first when Paytm was there, then they transact their Paytm wallet, and then Uber is like, yeah, like now we cannot deduct money from Paytm because it's not even there. So so these kind of things happen a lot in these kind of systems, whereas in smart contract, what it do is, you don't actually pay your actual money. It That smart contract is having, like, like that takes your money on anyone's behalf, and that is again a computer. It's not a third party. I cannot trust a third party or an application, however big that company is. Maybe I don't want to trust him. Like, just a company. It's like it can go off and say, oh, I'm not giving you your money back because I don't have it, or like anything. But that's a computer system. It cannot give you a false result. Because it's been computed, it's been done, whatever been computed, like, or been set off. So it will your money will go to that particular smart contract, and and from there, like whenever your thing is being solved, whenever you solve your solution, or whenever it has been contracted, yes, you'll be getting your money. Whenever, for example, you take some insurance, and that has to be given on a recurrence basis, so that smart contract will legally bound you to pay all those things using your cryptocurrencies. So making some kind of applications like that. Some applications like, your bonds are there, in legal bonds kind of thing. So a lot of court bonds and legal bonds, these kind of things are there. They somehow manage to write all those things in a form of a code. Just imagine that. Okay, like all of these things, like for example, when you go to these people, actually, like all these reportings and everything's on a paper, and like they don't you cannot ask them ki, "Yeah, I wrote this and this was not done, and this, like, I want this money back," or something like that. they don't listen, or they are like, oh, we'll do, oh, we just forget, or it got skipped or something like that. This cannot be done in this particular, like, network and this particular platform, or so that's a great power and transparency of this particular system. So so that's why, like, people want to use it a lot, especially the tech people, I would say, but obviously government not. So that's like, for example, I have seen that some of my friends, they build some great initiatives in terms of like fixing Aadhars into all of this, your proof IDs into a blockchain, IPFS. Like, it was a public private blockchain for a distributed for decentralized systems, and they just rejected it in that phase, that ki bro, no, like, no, like, we don't trust your system. It's like because obviously, like, there's a lot of corruption that could go off, like, just because of this, like, because it will be doing, these systems will be doing what exactly things are. So so that's why, like these systems is something, like, I'm not sure, maybe it's not coming right now in a product form, or like the government form, but I think it's come, because I've seen that. I personally went to a hackathon. It was a fintech valley hackathon, and it was initiated by Amravati government. Like, I've seen that these guys were doing really great, like, Amravati, and not Amravati is doing great in this particular respect, and Vizag, like that particular hackathon was Vizag based. Like, that government was trying to make their financial market completely based on blockchain. So I'm not saying Bitcoin or something, or cryptocurrency is something that's very fascinating. That's all, like, stock based, or like up and downs of those investment. I would say, like, some rash investment kind of things. But blockchain as a technology is awesome. It's great. It's a pure technical aspects where products could be made, and it's been abused just because of Bitcoin, and it's, like, flow of up and down, insecure form of depleting your money or your financial investment kind of thing, like those kind of things. It is affecting badly to blockchain, whereas blockchain as a technology, it's actually could be used in multiple use cases, way it be supply chain management, way it be, like, all your logistics, way it be your transactions, your financial institutions. So yeah, like, those things are very, very, I would say, maybe in coming years, these things will be of great initiative. So obviously, like, I'm not sure of India, like, I see a lot of consultation work in this particular field, because there are very less blockchain developers right now available in India. Like, everybody wants full stack development, or maybe machine learning is something that's very trending right now. Deep learning is coming into a lot of trend, which is obviously, it has a great use. I'm not saying that they don't have a use. Like, they are superbly awesome in their what they are impacting to this technical industry. But yes, like, blockchain is something, like, a lot of projects from London, Singapore, Dubai, like all these financial states, like, you'll get a lot of consultations from there. If you just add on to your profile that, okay, like, you're a blockchain developer, you have worked in something called Ethereum or Hyperledger. Ethereum is a public blockchain creating for dApps. Hyperledger is a private blockchain. Like, there's a, like, bit difference between how you work with a public blockchain versus a private blockchain. A lot of institutions or companies or banks, they use private blockchain as their solution. They don't use public is something, it's like, like, charity based. I try to write my first conference paper when I wrote, it was on like, effectively improving the charity. I always saw that these all charities, I saw their mechanism, or their working as a format of begging, as compared to asking for an investment. Like, it's a very, very silver line. Like, for example, if you get funding for a starter versus you're begging, like, it has a very small thin silver lining in way of asking the things. Like, it's like, like, way of pitching the things, like asking versus pitching. That's the only difference. So that's how, like, like, charity is missing that particular quality. Like, all these charities that actually works a lot, and for a lot of, like, for example, Malarial Foundation in Africa, I usually contribute, like, so they are extremely powerful and extremely great, and they have a lot of consensus around it. So all of these charities can be on a, like public leisure, where what all things has been happening, it's very transparent, people are very satisfied what they are doing, how they are doing. So like my first research paper was like, like how effectively we can actually generate money through charities, and that would be going back to those charities. And people, if they want to generate money through that, you can, like, that's like kind of a financial modeling around these charities, and people make generate money, and also the part of the generated money is going directly to the charities, which obviously is affecting them in positive manner, and everything is being transparent. It's like it's using the blockchain as a concept. So maybe you can have a, like somebody, if you want to have a slightly look, you can have that particular also. And to understand the basic concepts of blockchain, for sure, go for this Bitcoin paper that, like Satoshi Nakamoto. Like I think that name is so fascinating. He didn't even come up that who is he, why he built that. Everybody knows that. Like, but who is he? He don't. He made his personality as anonymity, and that's the most best part, I think, out of it. That now nobody can, like nobody can say ki, yaar, I'll take that person. Like nobody can reach to that person now because nobody knows that person. That's the best part. So that's why, like, I think it went up. It's like nobody can, like whenever this was going up and rise, government tried their best to stop it, their level best to stop it. But obviously, like, it's like all anonymity, and it's been deployed on public networks and servers. So who don't want it, just don't want it. Like, but who wants it, you cannot stop them. That's the best or beauty part of it. And everything is transparent, and so people are just, like trying to have it at its best ways. So yeah, like I think, like I try to cover a bit. I'll show you a small presentation also. We do have a small time, I think, for this. So any kind of questions you guys have? So some people are like, how do I get internship in code silence? Okay, so it's fine. Like you if you really want that, like we are really looking for some of the front and back end developers. You can I shared a form in LinkedIn once, I think sometime back. Maybe you can apply there. You can reach me out on LinkedIn, something like that. That could help. Maybe you can write a mail. That would also works for me. uh, and anything, any specific. So for example, so blockchain, don't study blockchain. So there are some things that you do things for your leisure. In For example, when when you travel to some specific places for leisure. uh, when you stay, or you live for at least meeting your needful things. So don't count blockchain, I would say, in your needful things. Like try to have something like data structures, algorithm, full stack development in your needful things, so that like you get, like, you'll be sorted all of those things in terms of getting your jobs or something. But yes, like blockchain as a technology, it's a next it's slightly a different level thing. From there, try to be very creative, very innovative, very research based, because this is a currently a field which is evolving. It's not something which has been evolved a lot. So I've also seen some videos where it see that, okay, like first there was a time when uh computers, like first generation, second generation, third generation, these processors was evolving. That was a processors generations. Then it was like internet generation, it was coming ki, like internet, like e-commerce websites are coming, all of these things are coming. Maybe like 10 years down the line it would be blockchain, like where like all of these distributed application or the internet is coming into a decentralized form, where like people don't want to like authenticated by a third party. It's like, oh, it's in blockchain, we are safe, we are transparent, whenever we want to see things around we can see, nobody can fool us. That's the best quality of it, and nobody can mutate any of it. So those kind of things is like something that is very beautiful in all of this. And it's purely, the best part is it's purely connected and attached to computer science. If you really love computer science, you'll enjoy it a lot for sure. So yeah, like that's and I've seen one thing, like I don't know, like if you guys take it, like positive, like some things is you take things in differently, or I don't know how you take it, but I've seen a lot of CEOs in US or abroad who are Indians, but there are very less CTOs which are like Indian. So it's actually been there that you have to go inside of these technologies, build some of the great, uh, I would say, not only the platforms but the technologies that has to be created, that has to be used by the people to make those platforms, to beautify those platforms, to like integrate with those platforms so that their platform work really well. So for example, consider those eras of AT&T labs, when like those Dennis Ritchie kind of peoples, like I think, like like who created C, or uh these Java people, like who created all these languages and all those kind of things. They were all together sitting around and they were creating and innovating a lot of things in the technology. Like they don't want that, okay, like this has to be come out as a product, we'll make money, we'll build a company. No, it's like it's just the technology that they want to make it. So those kind of interest, mindset, research based things, that is something, like that has a long vision, which Code Asylum see it as a community, or like building those kind of uh, community centers kind of thing, or research based centers inside, starting with India, has to be there. So that people, like I've seen people in hackathons in India, like they try to build around some website in HTML, CSS, bootstrap kind of things, like versus, like I've seen hackathons in China, they what they do in their final project is building their own system, and like competing, oh, my system works better, like they stabilize their system in their RAMs and ROMs, and like setting up of all those processor and hard drives, and setting up of that system, and then racing around that, okay, like my system is much more faster, or it's more effective, or it's more stable. So it's very different kind of a, I would say, level in terms of like programming or technology, that has to be still, like we have to evolve a lot into it. So that's what, like if you really find that enthusiasm in the technology, I think, like it's it's great that you start doing it. Don't go for any kind of validations from the people around, that, oh, like you worked in Google, that's why only you get all those things. I'm telling you, like those companies are just for, like sometimes to get your name or get your recognition, that's it. Like it's not something that's very fascinating is being developed inside those organization, at least in the Indian ecosystem. You majorly do some kind of side work, or like from a product, you are, for example, in this product, you are just checking if, oh, this mute function is working good or not, or this, for example, this how these pictures are coming, is it good or not. That's it. Making just for this, maybe you take 6 months, 7 months in those kind of companies. So that's a, like difference in working in a startups versus working in these kind of big companies. Obviously they give you a lot of status, value, money, all of this, but yes, right now, like that depends, like what you want, how you want to grow in your life, kind of a thing. Because after a certain point of time, like if you get obsolete in that, then your pay will not increase, or like your growth will not increase. I think a lot of people might have also said ki, yaar, ki if you actually work best, if you know the tech best inside and out, maybe not today, tomorrow people will see you, and like you'll be at heights what other people might be also, even in Google, they are not even close to you. So never think of that way ki, yaar, we have to work to get the best company. No, like you have to be best in technology. All of these things will move around to you. Obviously you should have an awareness, like it's not something ki, like for example, I remember, like we used to study a lot of wrestling holiday in our physics wala time, but it's like, oh, that has nothing to deal with IITs. Oh fuck, like we didn't know that, nobody told us that. Like it's like, so those kind of things is like, don't go in that visions also, that it's good for learning, it's good for like for example, blockchain is something like that kind of technology ki, yeah, you explore that far ki, yeah, like you're developing products or building things in blockchain. That's really great and amazing. But obviously also try to have those basics done around your computer science and technology, so that like you don't have a sustenance problem. That's it. Like that is also sometimes a big issue for a lot of people, which you cannot go to a luxury without sustenance. That's also for sure. So try to fix up your sustenance as soon as possible, as fast as possible, and move on to different technologies. So that's your, that should be your like go to wala platform. And I can assure you that ki, yaar, at this point of time in the universe, of the universe, like this point of time, it's the time where technology is best, is like getting into IT, getting into this particular domain, getting into this stream. You are sitting at the best domain among all other possible domains, that I can assure you. For matlab, like for sure, like that has a huge growth, that like for example gives you the best status, gets you the best financial stability, in same amount of energy that people gives throughout. So that is something, like you should be always fond of, and try to create a lot of new things around it. It's never ending thing, and it has a lot of things all around. So yeah, like maybe I can show you something. Any questions, any questions? Okay, I think, guys, so how can I share my screen? Okay, share screen. Cool. So blockchain, I think, like I try to explain you, Ethereum also is something that's like a platform, like application is based on all of the decentralized ecosystem basically. Then there is hyperledger. Hyperledger is something that is like, like public blockchain. Now, sorry, private blockchain. Now a lot of time it happens ki, yaar, we are making blockchain for the public. Like it's like it has to be transparent, it has to be non-mutable. Like there should not be, a control by someone over any of its application or any of its part. But in private blockchain, there is a control, but at different hierarchical level, there is all computers that is controlling. So for example, they are just making in a fact that in an organization we are following the decentralized way of computing instead of distributed. Like for example, instead of distributed, they are using the decentralized way of uh, understand, like data transfers or business evaluations or any of those things, so that uh, the system inside the companies would be very like comprehensive and valuable, transparent, fast flowing. But at the same time, they obviously have the authority and power to shut down or control if they want. So that is like an option is there, kind of a thing, which is like, like it's a little debatable when people talk about a private blockchain. But yes, like a lot of banks and institutions, they want to use blockchain first in this way. Like I'm like, chalo theek hai, it's fine ki you want to start it off, at least it's good. You want to start it from here, maybe after 5 years or 10 years down the line, they will, like more deep dive and go into the public form of it. But yes, like this is how people have adapting products inside the lot of financial market, banking sectors, IoT, supply chain, manufacturing sectors, to apply blockchain as a product, as a technology. So yes, like this is also, like a go-to second thing after Ethereum that you should work on when, like you want to take blockchain ki, yaar, I want to be a blockchain developer. There are some of the parts of it, like for example, they have Borrow, they have Sawtooth, Fabrics, Indie, Iroha. These are also some kind of frameworks which provide all this public blockchain deployments. So you can check all those things also. And then these are some of the like use cases. Key smart contract, I told you ki it's a kind of a contract in between two parties, which the computers will take care of it, like take care all the conditions, all those rules and regulation or consensus or formulation which is being tied between two people or two parties or two merchants or kind of thing in that particular network. So yeah, like that kind of thing, share economy, crowdfunding, governance, like all financial, like these are financial, basically supply chain auditing, like how I told you, from a farmer to a merchant, how it is going, controlling all those parts at every instances, certifying those genuinity. So all those things, it can be used a lot. Then obviously security, predictions, market, file storage also, like I told you, like how people are trying for this these Aadhaar cards and these proof IDs cards to protect your things. And then like it obviously have like wherever you find a application for distributed or device or networking, you'll find a use case for a blockchain. It's just that like how difficult it is versus how feasible it is versus how adaptable. Like adaptable is the very big issue right now in blockchain technology. And also like it has a lot of problems in resource. Like for example, a lot of time people say ki, yaar, a lot of resources being utilized just because of blockchain mining, like a lot of electricity or a lot of natural resources, the after effects of usage of that much graphic cards in particular area, depleting the environmental issues. So those kind of things are there. Basically these are challenges where it's like we have to upgrade our hardware. Maybe xenon hardwares are coming, quantum computing is coming. Oh, wow, like that is a great option. So if, like for example, quantum computers are coming, then those processings would be really very fast and things could be like could be managed up much more efficiently. So yeah, like those kind of things are will obviously be evolved. And then these are some of the resources which like I try to gather around so that you guys can help around. Like this was the Byzantine general problem which I was discussing when those kings and like those soldiers were a thing. And Bitcoin official paper, obviously this is great. Like that is where like, or this video is great. Like this nobody can stop blockchain, like according to Bill Gates. Like that video is actually will help you to key like understand key why this was actually evolved, like why that Satoshi Nakamoto paper actually got so much fascinated by the people ki, yaar, this is something great, like we want to trust this instead of like our financial models that our government has made, but this is something we can trust upon for sure. So so yeah, like these, then this Ethereum and Hyperledger is something that you can start it off. So these are the basic things that, like which I have covered, and based on like I understanding of mine key how you guys like like have started or have been starting or will be starting kind of a thing. Uh so based on that, like I try to gather some of the resources for you. And to get this particular sheet, if you want, yes, like you can get this sheet. I'll add this on LinkedIn maybe. I can do one of that thing. And how can I do it right now for you guys? Can we do it right now? I don't think, like maybe you just find, like I think Pratyush Agarwal Code Asylum's LinkedIn kind of thing. Like maybe tomorrow I'll try to post it over there, and you'll get a link from there for sure. Blockchain, I'll try to summarize it more in terms of if you want, like you want any specific thing also in blockchain, tell me. Like for example, dApps were not there very very impressively over here. I'll add dApps for that. And anything, if you want specific key, add this also. I want to know more about this in specific to blockchain. So maybe you can add in the comments. I'll try to put those particular things also over there. uh and yes, like so any questions around it? So this was like obviously around blockchain, how things are going, how things are building in this particular respect. if you even want to ask around any specific thing in terms of, like how should I start my career, or any specific thing that you want to add around, uh, I can help you with that. Okay. So any started the apps project, any started the app project. Okay. So basic project, like try to take a use case of splitwise. Like that could be one of the good the app project that you can start around. You can do a kind of a financial modulator. Like for example, you take cryptocurrencies that are already there, and like people can save or store how they have spent in different cryptocurrencies, what are its current profits or losses from when since they have started, something like that. Or this, like majorly through financial markets, if you want to make the other thing, if you want to make into the apps is uh, okay, is blockchain career fruitful in India? What is the average? Oh, that's what I was saying. So I was saying it's like it's a right now a luxury technology. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, don't go it for key. You want to have a job around it. Like you can have. I'm not saying that it's not something that you cannot have a job around it, but don't, like work specially on this particular technology to get the job, because it takes a lot of time and efforts to just get a basic job out of it. You'll not even, that's a problem, there is no basic job. That's the major problem here. Like it's either you get a very good job around it, or you'll not get it. It's simple. Like that's why, like if you want a sustain wala job, I'm saying full stack data structure, that's your go to options for jobs. Like for jobs, that is what everybody wants. uh and yes, like for example, if you really do perform well in this blockchain, go to these Upwork websites, or there are a lot of portals in Singapore and London and US, Dubai. These kind of there are a lot of platforms. So portal is there, Upwork is there. Uh, then it's like, like your reference and connects. Like for example, I tell you one thing. Like this happens to me a lot. So for example, you just add those things whatever you have done in your LinkedIn, and you'll get work from there directly. Like blockchain developers are so less in the community, I'm telling you. Just add those things, the people will start reaching you out for the projects, and they pay you really good. Like I'm telling you, like you cannot even imagine like kind of pays that you will be getting just because of this blockchain development as your backend option. So try to have your, like earnings through blockchain or these technology kind of stacks in that way, like not going directly to a company and developing products around that. That is something you can do full stack, or machine learning, or distributed systems, or data engineering kind of things. But yes, like this is something, do it consultancy ways, do it, try to take those projects in terms of your learning phase, and then try to like pitch it to different companies which are working abroad. Just add into your LinkedIn. I'm telling you, like you'll get a lot of opportunities directly. People will be directly messaging you for all these things, and start, like like start writing blogs around it, start writing, sharing things on your LinkedIn. People will approach you directly. So don't go as a proper industry based. If you want to, you can apply for some jobs, but there are very few jobs, I'm telling you. Like that's for sure. Like don't go this for the job perspective. Cool. I think that's great. And like it was great, like like having interaction with you guys, understanding, and you guys are really interested and in, like enthusiastic in this kind of technology. It's really great to see. uh and yes, like for any kind of, like any more information or things, you can always ping me on LinkedIn, you can write me a mail, kind of thing. So I'll try to acknowledge as much uh, answers as possible, best of my knowledge, obviously. Like things are been growing at my end also. Like it's always like the learning is always a phase where it's always evolving, always exploratory, always comes through uh these ways, like where like it's for example, it's very comment based. Like sometimes it happens that it's very interactive when you guys are also like being there here itself, and we are talking on different topics, understanding it more. So for example, in boot camp also, I remember when I used to conduct a lot of offline boot camps. Online I find like offline boot camps, like people used to stay with us for those 28 days, and they they have created some great fascinated things which they or us cannot even believe of. So like those co-living boot camps is extremely like great insights of building best products in terms of learning best, understanding it best, making technology a place where people evolve creativity and information around it. So yeah, like stay connected with us, stay connected with Code Asylum, stay connected with technology. That's great. So thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Hi Manshu, how are you?
Thank you, Pratyush sir. It was a very fruitful and very informative session. As we have seen from the chat, that many people were really into the blockchain and the blockchain community part. So let's end the session. Thank you guys. And those who haven't registered yet for the DaeDarus hackathon, they can register. The website link is below in the description, as well as join our discords, as we are entering the final phase of hackathon and soon the submissions will be open. And thank you for joining us and coming to this session.
All the very best for your hackathon.
Thank you.